Right now at noon, an update on the child that was hit by a foul ball during a Major League Baseball game. And President Trump takes on Robert Mueller, the president's new line of attack, as the special counsel goes public.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Thursday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at your first alert forecast. Nice to see the sun.
Yeah, it's finally coming back out, Mark, and we had some showers roll through, especially south of Madison during the overnight and early morning hours, but much of that rain has moved out. Just a few light returns showing up closer to Kenosha. We're seeing that blue sky and sunshine return to Madtown on the WISC-TV Skycam. Looking at partly sunny skies, temps up to 70 in Madison and in Janesville, 71 in Monroe and 73 in Mineral Point. That's about 10 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday, so we're getting a little bit milder each day. I think highs will make it into the middle 70s by later this afternoon, and we could be making a run at 80 degrees, well into the 80s, in fact, by tomorrow. We'll talk about that, plus what to expect for this weekend in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Residents of Texas are facing a lot of cleanup today as possible tornadoes hit their communities yesterday afternoon. Tornadoes caused damage near and in the cities of Kemp and Mabank in Kaufman County, and a confirmed tornado hit Canton in Van Zant County. Several homes were impacted by the severe weather, with dozens of big trees knocked down and power lines affected. There fortunately have been no reported injuries. An investigation is underway after another Madison teacher is being accused of using a racial slur in front of students. The State Journal reports an email went out to parents yesterday afternoon about the alleged incident at Spring Harbor Middle School. That's on the city's west side. The principal told parents the teacher was removed from the classroom as soon as the incident was reported. This is just the latest in several reported incidents of teachers using racial slurs this year. Earlier in the year, Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham called the use of slurs, quote, unacceptable regardless of context. Planned construction on the Beltline this weekend has been delayed. The Department of Transportation says construction on part of the eastbound Madison Beltline Bridge will start on June 7th. Traffic will be reduced to 2 lanes from Seminole Highway to Fish Hatchery Road during daytime hours. On Saturday and Sunday, there'll be additional construction as the Seminole Highway ramp. Lane closures expected to continue on the Beltline with expected traffic slowdowns from 7 to 10. But again, this has all been delayed by a week. A scary and jarring moment at an Astros game last night when a young girl was hit by a foul ball. During the 4th inning at Minute Maid Stadium in Houston, Albert Almora Jr. of the Chicago Cubs hit a foul line drive into the stands and hit a 4-year-old girl. In a photo, you can see the young fan in tears but alert and being held by a man reports say is her father. She was immediately taken to the hospital. Almora was immediately aware of what happened and clearly distraught.
God willing, I'll be able to have a relationship with this little girl for the rest of my life. Just prayers right now, and that's all I really can control.
After the incident, Almora is calling for change, saying, right now, obviously, I want to put a net around the whole stadium. A Houston radio station says the little girl expected to be okay. President Trump says Robert Mueller's investigation cleared him of any wrongdoing, but the special counsel spoke for himself for the first time yesterday, and that drew the president's attention. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
I think Mueller is a true never-Trumper. He's somebody that dislikes Donald Trump.
President Trump railed against Robert Mueller one day after the special counsel spoke about his investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election for the first time. Wednesday, Mueller made clear he didn't exonerate the president.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so.
That means you're innocent. That means you're innocent. Excuse me. Then he should have said, you're guilty.
The president insists there was no collusion and no obstruction, and he walked back a tweet from this morning where he said Russia helped him get elected.
I got me elected. Russia didn't help me at all.
President Trump also challenged Democrats' growing calls for impeachment. He called it a filthy word and said he doesn't see how it's possible since there were no high crimes or misdemeanors.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says Congress must complete its own investigations into the president before moving forward.
You don't bring an impeachment unless you have all of the facts, the strongest possible case, so that the president is held accountable one way or another.
But some Democrats say Mueller's comments open the door to impeachment.
I would suggest that he told us enough to interpret what he said as a referral for impeachment proceedings.
One thing Democrats do agree on, Special Counsel Robert Mueller should testify before Congress about his report. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
And Justice Department officials tell CBS News Special Counsel Mueller believes his report speaks for itself, and there is no reason for him to testify before Congress. President Trump denies any involvement in a directive to keep the naval destroyer USS John McCain out of his sight during a trip to Japan over the weekend. CBS News confirmed an email to Navy and Air Force officials ordering the action. A tarp was placed over the ship on Friday, but removed on Saturday when President Trump arrived in Japan. Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan issued a statement saying the matter was news to him.
I never authorized or never approved any action around the movement or activity regarding that ship. And furthermore, I would never dishonor the memory of a great American patriot like Senator McCain.
A commander told the Associated Press all ships remained in normal configuration and were visible from the USS Wasp, where the president visited sailors this past weekend. The acting defense secretary has asked his chief of staff to look into the matter. Well, there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
No matter if you call this sugar cream pie, Hoosier pie, or just delicious, you won't find a creamier treat than this. Today, we're making a dessert that's believed to have originated in Indiana back in the mid-1800s. Story has it that this pie was born out of necessity when apples were scarce, yet the basic ingredients of this pie were still plentiful. And judging by the popularity of the sugar cream pie, it proves that good taste never goes out of style. To make it, all we do is combine some flour, brown and white sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and a bit of salt. Once that's mixed, we add in some heavy cream, half and half, and a splash of vanilla. Now, we mix this well and pour it into a pie crust. I actually like to set my pie plate on a baking sheet just in case it sloshes over the sides when I carry it to the oven. You know, this pie is often confused with a custard pie, but let me tell you, they're not the same thing, because a true custard pie has eggs in it, and this doesn't. After this comes out of the oven, we finish it with some cinnamon sugar before letting it cool. Then, get ready for a super creamy, super rich pie that has stood the test of time. I hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our sugar cream pie, or as some call it, who's your pie? And when it's this good, it really doesn't matter what you call it. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a old world way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, Dave has a touch of summer in his first alert forecast. That's coming up after the break. Well, trade tensions between the U.S. and China are escalating, and most Americans admit they have financial regrets. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
China is now accusing the U.S. of, quote, economic terrorism in the ongoing trade dispute. An official with China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs also said China is opposed to the use of big sticks like sanctions and tariffs. The rhetoric follows strong words yesterday from Chinese state media to Washington saying, quote, don't say we didn't warn you. The U.S. economy grew a bit slower than originally estimated in the first quarter. According to the Commerce Department, GDP expanded 3.1% during the first 3 months of the year. Now, GDP is considered the official yardstick of the economy, measuring total goods and services. The number was revised lower due to weaker business investment. Target is recalling 90,000 USB Lightning charging cables due to shock and fire hazards. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says metal around the cord can become electrically charged if it makes contact with the USB wall charger plug prongs. Target received 14 reports of cables smoking, sparking, or igniting. Consumers can return the cables to Target for a full refund. And 76% of Americans say they have financial regrets. That's according to a new Bankrate.com survey. Half of those surveyed say they are addressing their financial regrets, such as a dearth of savings, while 21% say they have no plans to address it at all. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Thank you, Diane. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 48 points, the NASDAQ plus 23, and the S&P 500 is up 7. Let's check in with Pam Yankee now with all the latest agricultural news on this Thursday. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. The weather's still holding for us outside, and boy, my markets are on another tear again today. Double-digit rallies, corn, beans, and wheat in Chicago. A lot of it is relative to the weather and some of the severe weather at that farther south in central United States, and the forecast not necessarily giving us a whole lot of break for fields to dry out. We're approaching some of the final planting deadlines for states like Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. They've got until June 5th to decide if corn's going in the ground, or those farmers will see a reduction in their crop insurance payment rates every day after June 5th. So the clock is really ticking. We also had our export numbers released this morning. Little bit of business uptick that the market didn't expect. Part of it is because Argentina had a strike that happened on Wednesday, really slowed down any of the movement that they would have had as far as exports were concerned. China back in the marketplace just a little bit as well. So signs of life as far as that was concerned, just enough for the traders to get excited about. So like I said, we're up. Last I just glanced before Money Watch, we're up about 14 cents on corn, about 15 cents on wheat, and about 12 cents on soybeans on the midday. Talking a little bit about what's happening in dairy. Again, not a lot of activity as far as our cheese market's concerned. Barrel cheese down a quarter today at $1.54. The 40-pound block cheese unchanged at $1.68 1/4, and double A butter down 2 1/4 at $2.35 a pound. Just want to remind our farmers, sure would love you to join us in our Life on the Farm selfie contest. If you go to fabulousfarmbabe.net, we'd love you to upload pictures of the day-to-day tasks that you take care of. You know, Mark, so many people are so disconnected with what farmers do on a daily basis. Even what we consider mundane tasks like feeding calves or milking cows or even pushing pens may be something that people aren't aware farmers do. So take a selfie while you're doing your chores, upload it to fabulousfarmbabe.net. We might give you a family 4-pack of tickets to a Mallards game coming up on June 12th. More importantly, we'll be helping to share what you do every day on the farm with those folks that might not necessarily know that story. So you can do that through the front part of next week, fabulousfarmbabe.net, if you like.
It's important
Maybe
work.
Maybe we'll get a chance to share some of those pictures. We'll see what we get.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Thank you, Pam. Dave is here now with a look at your first alert forecast.
Well, Mark, we had some heavy rain roll through overnight, especially across far southern Wisconsin. It was like Madison had a bubble over it, actually, because the rain completely missed much of the central and northern part of Dane County. But just to the south, we're looking at radar estimates here over the last 24 hours, about 1.5 to 2.5 inches across portions of Rock and Greene counties. Also, some heavy rain falling in Walworth County. And just to the north, we had a pretty strong thunderstorm at one point roll through just to the north of Madison. So we were kind of stuck in the middle, rain-free, which is a good thing after all the rain that we have received this month, and hopefully this dry trend continues. I do think that there is some dry weather coming up later in the 10-day forecast, and for the start of June, it's looking a lot drier than the majority of May, which is also good news. So we're noticing a downward trend in that rain coverage across southern Wisconsin, and the sun is starting to come out. The clouds decreasing as well throughout much of southern Wisconsin, and we can see that in full on our Platteville Skycam, on the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in this part of Grant County. We still do have some cumulus clouds showing up, but also some blue sky and sunshine. That's helped temperatures get into the lower 70s in Madison and in Janesville, already into the mid to upper 70s, 77 degrees to be exact in Mineral Point, 71 in the Dells, still in the upper 60s in Juneau. But still, that is about 10 to, in some spots, 15 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday. So So it is May, and it is southern Wisconsin, so we have some slight rain chances still in the forecast, but I really think we're going to be probably dry throughout the rest of Thursday. However, as we get into later on Friday, after starting off with a lot of sunshine, and that's going to help temperatures get into the 80s tomorrow, we still could see a few showers and storms late in the day. Our better rain chances arrive as we get into the overnight hours of Friday into the start of Saturday. That's when I think we'll need that umbrella, at least for the start of our weekend. So on Future Track, we're noticing that there still could be a few showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two, especially west of Madison. At least that's what Future Track is picking up. I think most of us are going to stay dry once again for this afternoon, but be ready, have that umbrella ready to go. Temperatures in the 50s to start off Friday, and then plenty of sunshine. Look at that, helping temperatures really skyrocket into the lower to middle 80s by Friday afternoon. Then we get a front 2 come through, and that will provide some rain chances, maybe a few rumbles of thunder as well into early Saturday morning. After that, we should start to dry out once again, and we could have 2 straight days of no rain and lots of sunshine. I can't remember the last time that has happened. Maybe in the middle of May, but it's been a couple of weeks at least, and temperatures will be pleasant in the lower 70s during that stretch. We do get the storm chances to return late on Tuesday into early Wednesday, but overall, looking at the long-term projections for June, especially for the start of the month, it does look a little bit drier overall. And you were saying it's hard to get much wetter than we have been, which is a good point. But hopefully some relief on the way for farmers.
Hopefully, yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, Dave. Ahead on News 3 Now at noon, Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here to introduce us to these two. It's Ellie and Betty, a bonded pair of guinea pigs. That's when we come back. Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our Pets of the Week. Welcome to you.
Hi.
Who do we have here?
Well, you have Betty over there, and I have her sister Ellie over here.
One-eared Betty.
Yep, one-eared Betty. It is difficult to tell these two apart, but yeah, one obvious one is Betty only has one ear.
So what's their story?
So Betty and Ellie were surrendered together, so they're actually a bonded pair. So we're looking for them to go home together since they are such best friends.
Yes, Betty wants to get over here and say hi.
And they were surrendered because a family was trying to bond them with a third guinea pig, and these ladies weren't quite having it. They were wanting to be best friends with each other, but not that third guinea.
So they're squeaking. That's a good sign, right?
Yep, so one of my favorite things about guinea pigs is they love to communicate. You will know exactly what your guinea pigs are thinking, and they're kind of chuttering right now. They're kind of figuring out, am I happy or not? They also have a squeaky I'm hungry sound. There's a pretty high-pitched squeal, and some little like happy chuttering sounds too.
And they're not a starter pet. I mean, they take some work.
Yep, they do want some area to run around in that's nice and safe in the house. I love when guinea pigs get happy because they'll kind of popcorn and jump up in the air. And they require, a nice balanced diet because they are very smart critters, and you don't want them to overeat on those fruits and veggies.
Yeah, squeaking away here. All right. Beer and dogs or pets, what is it?
Yep, what's not to love? So you can head out to the Olbrich Beer Garden this Sunday, June 2nd, and you can try to beat the brewers. The brewers from Tyranina Brewery are going to be out there doing a bags tournament to benefit Dane County Humane Society.
What a great idea. And at Olbrich Park, that's if you haven't checked it out, that beer garden there is kind of cool.
Oh, it's beautiful right on the lake.
Yep. All right, last week?
Oh, and last week we had Rory, that bundle of energy and joy, and Rory did get adopted. We're so excited for her.
Oh, that is great news. Yeah, she had a lot of energy, as you say.
Yes, and so do these two girls right now. I don't know if you can hear them squeaking away.
Go. All right, let's get Betty
and Ellie
a home. Go to giveshelter.org for information on them and all the animals available. 838-0413 is the number to call. Marissa, thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time. Dave has one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, Mark, I think Betty and Ellie are excited for the return of the sunshine because we're seeing the clouds decrease this afternoon across southern Wisconsin, and the sun has returned pretty much in full on our WISC-TV Skycam overlooking Madison. We see some cumulus clouds off in the distance. Temperatures are in the lower 70s right now across southern Wisconsin. Some spots, though, are moving into the mid to upper 70s. I think highs will be in the middle 70s for Madison later on this afternoon. Partly sunny and mild. Can't rule out an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but I think most of us stay dry.
All right, Dave. Thank you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.